servants of heaven that populate the lowest of the angelic hierarchy, a third sphere rung known simply as angels. Humans with deep faith often feel these angels closest to their hearts. Descending from the heavens upon their pure white wings, it is believed that the glimmering halo atop an Affinity's head lights the path for those who have lost their way. The religious articles they equip are all tools used to further their conviction to protect the righteous and can become powerful weapons used to strike down those with sullied hearts. While still a member of the third sphere, Applauds are one step above Affinities, and thus known as Archangels. Occupying the 8th position within the 9-level angel hierarchy, Archangels are still considered close to the physical world and often come into contact with humankind. It is said that devoted prayer on the part of believers can call upon a flock of angels to come to one's aid. With limited spiritual powers, this angel is spotted comparatively frequently within the physical human world. Deers, with their dignified faces, are surrounded by the countless childlike faces of their decorations. Capriciously firing arrows, they are often mistaken for Cupid. It is said that one of their arrows, shot through the heart of a believer, can be as infatuating as the goddess of love. Beloved is a member of the second sphere class powers, ranked 6th in the angelic hierarchy. Its status is more than that of a spiritual being, but it is also burdened with destroying the enemies of Paradiso. While still considered amongst the lower classes of angels, Beloved's power is of a far higher order than that of a human, and even those with strong spiritual powers are seldom afforded the chance to meet this being. Excelling in combat, Beloved are known for brilliant exploits in demonic battles. A witch is powerful or more so than Bayonetta. Her piercing eyes cut through to awaken Bayonetta's lost memories. The moonlit battlefield, Umbra witches, the heir to the clan throne. How are their paths intertwined? Will you face me in this hallowed arena? Vigrid Chronicles, Chapter 1. Bayonetta. An angel shaped like a cartwheel, the impetus behind this faithful form was the creator's desire to craft an angel designed to compel humanity to continue its struggle and feel no satisfaction at surpassing others. Try putting a comma in there. Enchants protect the field of God from human encroachment and are further responsible for passing communications to Paradiso and correcting the trespasses of humanity. Not a single comma in this at all. A demon taking the form of a woman who left this world under unfortunate circumstances, only to be reincarnated in hell. Unlike her beautiful swallowtail butterfly-like appearance, this demon is particularly brutal, and her reputation is well known even amongst the denizens of Inferno. If a conjurer were to sign a contract and trade her soul, the demon would impart upon her enormous power and great wisdom. A monstrous creature hailing from the demonic wood, Johnson Forest. Taking the form of a dragon, it is incredibly fierce, identifying all that moves as game and devouring its prey. Territorial, it is most likely to be found alone. I've been a journalist now for over 20 years, always aiming for the guiding light of truth, always pushing forward. I believe that communicating the truth is the core tenet of all journalism, chasing it until my legs burn into rubber and the truth is burned into my retinas. But my journalistic career has hit an incredible wall, and I must confess that I have been crushed under the weight of the path I have traveled. It all began upon seeing beyond the stone-chiseled history of the old European city of Vigrid, and past the deep scars time had left behind. The passing of history has always been overseen by a select few, and they have left memories of time stained with blood. This fact is integral in understanding the big picture, but it also causes one to hesitate before becoming involved in such a dark history. Treading down this path I believe so firmly it means I cannot afford to lose faith in my convictions. It may also mean that my life is put into jeopardy. However, I hold deep within my heart the hope that even after my soul has left this body, as long as these notes, my proof of being, are passed to the right man, future ages will also come to know the truth. They say that some things come at the cost of your life, but to me, truth is my life. In this age filled with lies and deception, I will forever pray that truth will shine its light on the path of righteousness. Antonio Redgrave. Within Vigrid City, there are a great many structures built long ago by two clans, the Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages. Amongst them, all have a sun and moon duality, evidence of peculiar outlook towards the universe, the Witches representing the moon, and the Sages representing the sun, burned into the fabric of the city in various ways. One of these structures, a pair of statues crafted from a high-quality crystal known as Beltiston crystallos, it's probably not a real thing, featured both a witch and a sage. The statues appeared to hold some sort of special significance. According to ancient records, they were created to aid in the training of the art of overseeing time, a skill only 2 clans were capable of practicing. That also served as the key to locking something away from public view should the clans feel the need for secrecy. However, the exact details of this art are unknown. Now, the city, scarred by the tragic witch hunts of the past, has seen many of the statues depicting witches destroyed or heavily defaced. Even these beautiful crystal statues were unable to escape the calamitous fighting. I've discovered the existence of something called alchemy. It is the deconstruction, combination, and reconstruction of everything. Metal, flesh, even spirit. If one understands the logic of the age, alchemy is a prime example of the era in which it was developed, although lesser known is the fact that alchemy is an offshoot of the witch's secret art of concoction. Concoction was only practiced by the Umbra witch clan, and the materials, amounts, and methods used were never shared outside of the clan's inner circle. However, in the chaos of the witch hunts, some details were said to have slipped out, including knowledge of the primary mixing compounds, Beta Gecko, Unicorn Horn, and Mandragora root. Also hidden was their role in controlling defense, offense, and vitality. It has been discovered that correctly combining these items may result in the creation of various useful compounds. These materials are, obviously, no longer in existence, and even if they still existed, outside being a member of the Witch Clan, one would have to take out a contract with a dweller of the Netherworld to obtain these rare items. In case of emergency, the witches placed these materials within Purgatorio, a realm caught in between the Trinity of Realms, in which the items were said to still remain. When creating concoction, the correct procedures, amounts, and combinations are absolutely essential, and the art is not for the inexperienced. Within Old Vigrid, many ancient stone structures have been preserved, being developed further as they are repaired, lending the town a peculiar sense of the historic. Modern architecture has also taken hold in Vigrid, starting with the central station. However, it is all to give form to the sacred institution of the ancient sages. The architecture gives us a glimpse into the people's deep sense of respect for their past. This town of old and new still keeps within its bounds several strange things that the modern man struggles to make heads or tails of. For instance, dark green barriers made of a as yet unknown metal seems to block certain alleyways. Their shape, comprised of many complex bricks, impedes one from proceeding down the ancient paths of the city as though they were a rejected visitor, even though it seems these paths saw everyday use in their distant past. I may claim this material as yet unknown, but in reality I haven't a clue regarding its composition. It is harder and heavier than anything a human being is capable of moving, or so I have surmised from examining its chilly surface. Pushing one's ear against the wall, the sounds the other side reverberates, and echo within, resounding throughout the inner workings of the wall, as if a glockenspiel was playing scales. I've never seen a metal like this, but many of the walls within the city are made from this material, and from the cliffs, one can see an enormous monument constructed from the same mysterious matter. I wonder why these lost witches and sages scattered these walls around the city. The word witch usually conjures up images in our head of an old woman using strange magic, but peruse the history of Vigrid and you'll find vastly different pictures of incredibly brave women who once inhabited the area. They were known as the Umbra witches. While these witches are said to have manipulated magic, there remains very little recorded history to back these claims. Yet, as they shared many powers with their opposing counterparts, the Lumen Sages, and from their records we can gather a better view of what magic entailed. As overseers of history, they possess the ability to literally see everything in an instant, also known as temporal control. This technique sharpened all of 5 senses and pushed one's emotional energy to its very limits. It is a world where a falling drop of water can become a crown, and a hummingbird slowly and elegantly flaps its wings. Temporal control is not just simply being able to recognize this world, it also enables one to boost their physical abilities and move freely within that single moment. Temporal control requires a sound body and mind, and complete grasp of spirit energy. While quite similar, the witches and sages each practice this art differently, leading to different names for their respective techniques: witch time and light speed. Witch time. it seems that the witches on this earth fell victim to our world's passage of time and vanished into the abyss of eternity. In the rigorous pursuit that are the magical arts, one method is said to have caused countless deaths during training: witch walk. To the Umbra witches, it seems the witch walk was truly indispensable. Taking their power from the moon, this band of witches were able to draw on the power-enriching qualities of moonlight to execute high-level techniques. However, records state that witch walk was powered by a pact with a particularly powerful demon who would grant the power to break gravity's bonds, and not by the more common moonlit source. As no further record remains as to the nature of this technique, any more hard facts remain unknown. However, by looking at the traces left on the buildings around Vigrid, one can make further assumptions. The traces are, in fact, footprints left on the surfaces of the wall. They blend into the city so well that you almost never catch a glimpse of them at first glance. In fact, those without knowledge of witch walk would probably never notice the footprints' presence. Amongst the dirt and scars on the surface, there are many buildings in Vigrid where footprints sporadically continue along their sides. This must be none other than proof that these magic practitioners were able to literally walk on walls. Many of these buildings where the witches have left their mark are truly strange. There are doors in unbelievably high locations, or the building may lack a path to its entrance entirely. Rejecting all intruders and living a life of solitude, witchwalk was not just a training technique for the Umbra witches. It was a shield that protected their way of life. Witches were ones of talent. That is my impression after years of exhaustive research into the Umbra. The word witches triggers within us all prejudice towards the paranormal or the supernatural. However, in this ancient city of Vigrid, the magical arts were a systematic form of scholarship. Of course, what I have learned about witches will be labeled as fraud by the world at large, or undoubtedly dismissed as nonsense. I will begin these notes with items I have confirmed to be absolute facts in regards to witches. Due to their lack of contact with the outside world, we often feel that witches were a strictly hereditary order. However, this was not always the case. For one to become a witch, one must first and foremost possess incredible spirit energy. Those with the power could become witches despite being of low birth, and those without power would be forced into secular life, regardless of any blood ties to a witch clan. Naturally, children born with a clan were often quick to grasp the concept of magic due to the environment around them, allowing their innate abilities to bloom at a much earlier age. Coming to grips with this concept must have inspired one to further hone their spirit energy. These children were also able to participate in extensive drills with other witches, and only those who had shown great promise and achievement were able to take their witchly vows prior to passage into womanhood. The exact nature of spirit energy remains unclear, although recognizing its existence within oneself and refining this talent further was the one true path to produce a witch of great ability. The exact nature of spirit energy remains unclear, although recognizing its existence within oneself and refining this talent further was the one true path to produce a witch of great ability.